Hello, my name is Mathias and welcome to the FPL Scope and my team selection video for Game Week 7. Before we go into what happens in Game Week 7 and beyond, we're going to have to take a look at what happened in Game Week 6, which was kind of like pedestrian game week for me, I guess. It was pretty good in some regards, pretty bad in other regards, and that means it's a pretty average game week in total. So I have a pretty decent rank, so I had a slight red arrow from 94k to 216k, just about. And yeah, still pretty happy about where my position is. I still haven't used any chips, as you can see. I do have Salah already in my team, so I don't really have to worry about how to get him in, whether that's through a wildcard or through free transfers and stuff. So my team is in pretty good shape. Pretty happy about most of the team, and some of these players that are not like entirely like template or like the favored wildcard picks actually have some pretty decent fixtures coming up. So pretty happy about my team overall, but let's just go through one by one each player this game week. We had Mark Flekken, who had yet another pretty bad game for Brentford. He kind of was at fault for the second goal. He was sort of half distance when Everton scored that leading goal, 2-1. Brentford disappointed massively at home to Everton. Only 2 points for Flekken. I could bring in Mbeumo into this discussion as well. Only 1 point for Mbeumo, who struggled, got a yellow card, and yeah, just didn't look that good at all, and played as a wing back at some points as well. So Mbeumo is definitely someone that I'm potentially looking to sell. Flekken as well, if I ever get Areola. I'm not going to do a wildcard most likely in the next few game weeks, but if I do switch Flekken, it could be, or if I do get Areola, it could be for Flekken. I could also do the Turner to Areola move and get Flekken and Areola at the same time, but that's further into the future and doesn't really matter that much. Flekken hasn't been that impressive so far, but at the same time, he plays for a historically pretty good FPL defense in terms of getting points for goalkeepers, so not too worried about Flekken or Mbeumo currently, but yeah, they're sort of on borrowed time. If they keep producing these bad numbers, then both of them are likely to be gone at some point from my team. Mbeumo, actually, I am considering a Game Week 10 transfer for him, but yeah, we'll get to that pretty soon. Ben Chilwell is definitely someone that I would want to get rid of. I'm very annoyed that I didn't stick with my original plan, because if you watched the team selection video last week, I actually said that I was going to play Kabore over Chilwell, because yeah, I was just going to bench Chilwell and see what happened in his game, and then judge how I'm going to do with Chilwell for Game Week 7 after that Game Week 6 game. And judging by that game, 0 points once again, didn't start yet again. He got subbed on, and once again he also got a yellow card. And furthermore, now I got injured in the midweek as well in the League Cup. So Chilwell definitely is someone that I'm looking to sell, but it's just a matter of when I sell him, because I might have some other issues or some other things that I want to sort out before I do the Chilwell move. But he's definitely on the outs, and I really wish I played or started Kabore, who is on the bench with 5 points, and it was kind of 5 lucky points because he got a penalty. He won a penalty that never should have been a penalty, but still, Kabore is that type of player. He's in the box. He can get some random assists every now and then because he's super attacking. That's why I'm pretty excited to have him for next game week, where he has a double game week. But yeah, I really should have started him over Chilwell, as I was originally planning to do, but it's just the allure of Chilwell potentially playing as a left winger in an easy fixture, on paper at least, for Chelsea, was just too tempting, and that's why I made the mistake with starting Chilwell over Kabore, but never again. One mistake that I didn't make though was the Botman move. That was actually a major plus for me. The one transfer I did make was Saliba out for Botman. Saliba blanked expectedly against the Spurs, and Botman unexpectedly scored his first goal for Newcastle and got a clean sheet in Newcastle's 8-0 thrashing against Sheffield United. The only downside here is that I actually had 2 transfers available, so I could have done a second transfer for a Newcastle defender. That's something that I pondered in last game week's team selection as well. Probably would have done Chilwell to Fabian Schär, who didn't get any attacking returns, but he did get a clean sheet, so I would have gotten points from that as well. But ideally, I'd just do the Chilwell to Kabore switch as well. But yeah, Botman 12 points, cannot complain at all with him. He has some slight injury issues now, potentially. He has been injured previously in the season. He's still struggling a bit here and there, but it seems like he's going to play. So still pretty happy about the move going forward as well. But especially for Game Week 6, it was a great move, because Botman's 12 points were very much needed, because that Newcastle game, if you didn't have any Newcastle defenders in that game, you pretty much were kind of screwed. But yeah, moving on, we have Perez Estepinian, who once again didn't get a clean sheet, but once again got an attacking return. This is what I've kept saying so far this whole season. Estepinian, I kind of regard him as a midfielder who can sometimes get lucky with an assist or with a clean sheet, and who often gets an assist or a goal. Like, he's shown that already this season. So yeah, he's pretty much going to play every single game week for me, except for the game week 9 fixture against Man City away, which is also after an international break. But apart from that, I'm looking to start him every single game week, even against Liverpool at home in game week 8. I'm probably looking to start him because yeah, I think Estupiñán is someone that you don't want to bench, and especially this game week. I saw, at least before Chilwell's injury, I saw people starting Chilwell over Estupiñán next game week when Estupiñán plays against Aston Villa away, and I don't understand that at all because Brighton have basically just run through the whole Premier League so far, except for West Ham, which is my favorite team. But they won every single game apart from that, and they won it with pretty high number of goals as well, like 3-1, 3-1, 4-1, 4-1, those types of results. So Estupiñán is going to be offensive, going to get attacking returns. At some point, he's going to get attacking returns and the clean sheets on top of each other at the same time. So I know Trippier is like the new hot thing in FPL currently because he got 3 assists and a clean sheet, which fair enough, that's really great for him against Sheffield United. But I think Estupiñán is even better value because he's like $1 million cheaper than Trippier. And yeah, he doesn't have the best fixtures now compared to the Newcastle defenders, but it doesn't really matter for Estupiñán and Brighton. They can score against anyone. And they could actually keep a clean sheet against anyone. They've been really close to keeping a clean sheet against Newcastle and Man United as well. Both those teams, they conceded pretty late goals, and they would have had a clean sheet otherwise. So Estupiñán is just a fantastic player still, and yeah, someone that I'm going to start every game week. Salah, likewise, I'm going to start him every game week. He has returned every game week. Once again, another 10-pointer. It was against my favorite team, West Ham, so I was kind of begrudgingly accepting those points, but it helped me sort of get not the worst red arrow, at least. 10 points for Salah, bonus points, goals, assists, especially assists this season from Salah is what you can expect. And I think he should be in pretty much every single squad by at least game week 10. He should be in pretty much every single squad in FPL, at least by the engaged managers who keep up and actually try to play this seriously, because I think Salah is just amazing. He's still amazing for these next few game weeks, but I don't think he's essential to bring in if you have to take like hits and stuff to bring him in. I don't think that's needed when he has sort of difficult fixtures-ish the next 2 or 3. But from game week 9 onwards, when he has Everton at home, and then game week 10 onwards as well, really simple fixtures, I think Salah is pretty much a must. Phil Foden, 11 points. Really nice to see that point return from him as well. I've kind of been left a bit wanting more with Foden when I brought him in from game week 3 onwards. He did have an assist in his first game, but he's also sort of hasn't looked as good as the other Man City assets, especially Alvarez. But this week it was Foden's time to shine. 11 points, got a really nice goal, got bonus points as well. Really nice from Foden. Saka as well, fantastic game week from him. He had a goal and sort of an assist against Spurs where he shot it and Romero put it into his own net. It could have been credited as a goal, but 1 goal, 1 assist, bonus points for Saka. Really helpful there, especially seeing as the Spurs guys got a lot of points against me because I don't have either Son or Maddison in my team currently. So yeah, at least Saka was able to sort of at least diminish some of the damage by at least one of the Spurs guys. Then we have Raheem Sterling, who once again blanked. He has just blanked every single game week since I brought him in after the Luton game, like many other people did with the Chelsea players. Chelsea players continue to disappoint massively. But Sterling still looks good. He once again came through one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Didn't have the best finish, but easily could have scored. He was so close to scoring the game before that as well with the free kick that hit the bar, went down on the line and then out again, sort of like curled out as well after it was about to go in. And then the week before that, he had pretty much like a guaranteed assist to Nicholas Jackson, who missed like an easy sitter. So Sterling has been really like unlucky not to get any more points. Kind of unlucky, kind of unskillful, I guess. He could have scored that big chance he had in this past game, but he still has 2 good fixtures coming up, so I'm not panicking when it comes to Sterling. I think he's still a good option, especially next week when Nick Jackson is going to be out with a suspension. Maybe Sterling sort of gets the Son treatment where he plays up top and actually scores some points and stuff. But yeah, the 2 points really disappointing this game week. And then Mbeumo, like I said, really disappointing, but he has a decent fixture. Like 2 of the next 3 fixtures are really good for Mbeumo, so he's also someone that I'm not too like worried about keeping in the short term. So basically my whole midfield is like pretty good in the short term, but I kind of want to change them over the next 2 or 3 game weeks, basically. The strikers, however, I kind of want to just keep forever, especially Haaland is going to be here the whole season unless he gets injured. And if he gets injured, I get Alvarez in already. He's in my team already as well, but I really like Alvarez. I think Alvarez, He was really unlucky not to get more playing time now, because obviously Rodri got a red card. So Alvarez had to be subbed off early, and for all the 1.3 million new owners of Alvarez, that was a really massive letdown. But I'm kind of hoping that Alvarez is going to be sort of laying low and getting not the best points the next few game weeks, and when people wildcard, they're going to wildcard him out, and then I'll stick with him for the foreseeable future, because I still think Alvarez is going to be one of the best assets in FPL for his price, for his set piece taking duties and stuff, all that stuff. If he plays closer to 90 minutes each game, which I think he's going to do as long as Kevin De Bruyne is out, I think Alvarez is still a great pick, even though he only got 1 point this game week. Haaland got only the 1 goal. He keeps missing chances nowadays for some reason, but he's still the auto captain, still the main guy to have. It just depends on captaincy going forward. Next game week is actually pretty good, but after that, maybe you want to look at different captains, and that's what I'm going to look at for the future game weeks. But yeah, in total, I have 395 points overall. Really happy with that. Like I said, the rank is 216,183 in the world. Slight red arrow there from 94k, and then when it comes to the top 10k, which is always the goal for me, getting into the top 10k, I'm 28 points behind now after being 18 points behind last game week. So kind of a letdown there, and I could have been 5 points closer as well if I just started Kabore, but it is what it is, I guess. But that's pretty much the score I got from Game Week 6, so let's move on to Game Week 7 and look at what my team is looking like for this upcoming game week. So for Game Week 7, I still have two free transfers, which is good. I have 0.5 in the bank as well. But I also have a couple of yellow flags now in my team, and that's what's making me slightly worried. But all the other guys starting have pretty good fixtures. Most of them play away from home, but if you look at the fixtures, the opposition that they face, really good fixtures all around. So yeah, can't really complain too much. The one thing is Saka. He is still uncertain if he's going to play or not. He hasn't trained all week. Maybe he trains today as of this recording. This is going to get posted the same day I'm recording it. But as of now, he hasn't trained with Arsenal yet this week. So maybe he's not going to play in the game against Bournemouth. And either way, he has pretty difficult fixtures coming up in Game Week 8 and Game Week 9 as well. Game Week 10, he has a really good fixture against Sheffield United, but maybe I bring him back at that point if I sell him, but that's definitely an option. But before all the yellow flags, my idea was selling Chilwell, finally, and get Matty Cash, because I want a good defender to have going forward. I would actually bench Cash for this game week, because I think, especially if Botman is going to start, but I think Kabore, double game week, easy start for him. Everton away and Burnley at home. He could easily get some clean sheets, could even get some attacking returns, as he's shown so far this season. And like I said, Estupinan, I'm just going to play him every single game week, so I think he's better than Cash. Even though Cash plays at home against Brighton, I still favor Brighton in that game, because I think Brighton are just a slightly better team than Aston Villa, and have showed that they could beat the bigger teams, and Aston Villa haven't really shown that so far. But yeah, that's one of my options is doing Chilwell to Cash. And that would be also saving my second transfer for next game week, where I'm looking to sell Foden and potentially Sterling, potentially Saka if I don't sell him this week, and get Diaby and Son. That's sort of my plan for next game week, potentially. But it also depends on what I do this game week, because I might sell Saka already. And the sensible option and the sort of option that I kind of want to do, that I kind of have wanted to have, like the option I kind of have wanted to have in my team this whole season, is Moussa Diaby. I was really close to having him in my Game Week 1 squad, and it would have saved me so much hassle in general. I went for Eze instead. Eze blanked. Then I sold Eze for Sterling for a hit as well, and that's when Eze actually returned. And since then, Sterling has blanked. I wish I just had Diaby from the start and would have had that transfer saved as well. Could have used two transfers, or could have used another transfer a different game week. Would have had more points. I would have had just a much better position in general, but yeah, I can't really complain. I've had a really good start to the season, so I'm pretty happy anyway. But Diaby, getting him in, I sort of feel like I just have to do it, because yeah, I'm such a big fan of Diaby. I know his underlying stats aren't like the best, but I don't think he has to have the best underlying stats, because when Aston Villa and Diaby gets a chance, it's pretty much going to be a big chance, because yeah, they counterattack really well. So yeah, Diaby is that sort of player. He just needs the proper pass through. It's not always caught by like the underlying numbers, because underlying numbers are usually dependent on getting shots off. But sometimes on a counterattack, if you're playing 3 against 2, sometimes the pass just doesn't go through to Diaby. So over the long haul, I think he's just going to keep scoring points. But the underlying stats might not be the best. But yeah, I think Diaby is just a really good player. Aston Villa have amazing fixtures, especially, well, even from next game, Game Week 8 onwards, when he plays against Wolves. I think that's really good. But obviously, if Saka is fit and healthy to play, I would rather just keep Saka rather than doing the transfer of Saka to Diaby now. But if Saka is out, then Diaby is probably my number one option to replace him. My second option would be Anthony Gordon, who also has really good fixtures. He is going to start pretty much every game now for Newcastle because Harvey Barnes is out until 2024, basically, which got confirmed today on the press conference for Newcastle. So Gordon actually looks like a really good pick. He's really cheap. He plays for a really good team that just won just beat Sheffield United 8-0. And yeah, he just looks really good this season as well, Gordon. So it is pretty tempting. It's just the fact that I sort of wish I had Diaby earlier in the season. Maybe I shouldn't let that be like a factor in what I do, but yeah. But there are also other options here as well. I think it's pretty certain that Foden and Sterling are going to start, but if I get any indication that either of those guys are going to be benched, then I could do a double transfer in midfield rather than doing the Chilwell to cash move as well. So I could potentially get Diaby and Gordon, or I could do a punt on someone like James Ward-Prowse, which I really, really want, because I think James Ward-Prowse is probably like the first or second name on the team sheet for me if I had or if I used a free hit this game week. Ward-Prowse would probably be one of my players to have because his fixture against Sheffield United at home, after seeing Trippier get 3 assists in that same fixture, or in the away fixture even against Sheffield United, I just think Ward-Prowse with an even better delivery and even better targets in the box is going to feast against Sheffield United. So I'm really tempted to do that transfer, but at the same time it's sort of more short-sighted, especially seeing as I'm not going to wildcard anytime soon. So any of you guys that are going to wildcard pretty soon, I think James Ward-Prowse is a fantastic one-week punt. If you're on a free hit as well, I think there are reasons to do a free hit, especially if you have a lot of yellow flags. You could have someone like Maddison in your team. You could have Gusto, for example, out. You could have other players who are or slight doubts, Ferguson, for example. So free hit is not the worst option either, but I think a wildcard is also pretty good. I saw FPL Mate, one of the other big content creators basically in the world. He has done a wildcard, and his wildcard, I really have to recommend that video because I really liked his wildcard team. It's really different, and it's really trying to take some punts, but at the same time it's pretty sensible as well. So I think that wildcard squad is looking really good. But if you want a different wildcard alternative, you can obviously watch this content from my channel as well, because I've made a weekly wildcard draft video this week as well. I always do a wildcard draft every single week. That's one of the perks from this channel. You get a wildcard pretty much every single game week where I sort of compare and contrast from the game week before. But yeah, check that video out as well. But yeah, the suggestion from FPL Mate was also really, really good, and yeah, really interesting team as well. But yeah, you could wildcard, you could free hit, or you could do like me and just do regular transfers. It is team dependent, as we always say when it comes to these types of situations. But yeah, for my team, I'm not considering either of those things. I did slightly consider free hits-ish if Botman, Saka, and Chilwell and stuff were all out, and Foden was potentially not playing, and all that stuff. Then maybe I would do a free hit, but it doesn't seem likely. I think Botman is going to start. I'm not sure about Saka. That's the one guy I'm the most unsure about. Chilwell is probably not going to start, but he's not going to start for me either way, even if it was starting. So I'm actually pretty happy that he's not going to play, because he's not going to hurt me off the bench at least. But yeah. So yeah, you could free hit, but the same thing with free hit as well. I tried to make a free hit draft, and I just have too much money in the bank as well, which isn't the worst. You shouldn't really be too concerned about that on a free hit, because it doesn't really matter in the end, because yeah, you just want the best team, and sometimes the best team is just teams from lesser, or players from lesser teams that have easier fixtures. Like West Ham, for example, I would have a triple West Ham thing. So if I wanted to give, I can do a little segment here on the free hit. I'm not going to have any slides on that or anything like that, no graphics on it, but when it comes to free hit punts, I really like the West Ham picks. I like Ward-Prowse, obviously, which I mentioned already. Zouma I really like on the end of those Ward-Prowse set pieces. I think Zouma is the better candidate out of him and Aguerd. Aguerd has also kind of been not the best West Ham so far, and Mavropanos has looked pretty good in those fixtures where he's played. But Zouma is the captain, and he's going to start, so he's the most secure defensive asset from West Ham, I think, in terms of getting points. But also a third West Ham asset. I would probably triple up on West Ham if I was on a free hit. And the third guy I would actually kind of recommend. Bowen is a popular option, and I get it as well. Bowen is fantastic. He can easily score several goals. But my kind of out there suggestion is going with Thomas Souček, because he is probably the best when it comes to scoring headers and stuff. He showed that last time around as well, with a corner from Ward-Prowse where he headed it in on the near post. So Souček for 4.9 only as well. I think he's a really fun like 1 week punt as well, or like a free hit punt. So he's really good. You have the Everton guys as well. Everton are also not talked about enough when it comes to like 1 week punts or free hits or anything like that. Adebayo Doucouré looks absolutely fantastic. You could potentially go with Calvert-Lewin as well, but I'm not sure about Calvert-Lewin or Beto, who's going to start up front, so I would probably avoid that. You could go with someone like Tarkowski as well, or Branthwaite, especially on your bench. You can have Branthwaite for a really cheap price, just in case someone doesn't play. But I think Doucouré is like the standout pick for me for Everton for the next 2 games, but especially this next game, if you are on a free hit, or if you want to do a 1 week or 2 week punt before you wildcard. I think he's a good option. And I also think the Arsenal guys, obviously Saka might be out, but at the same time, Saka played 2 matches last year against Bournemouth, and Arsenal scored 6 goals, and Saka was involved in 0 of them. So Saka, we know, away from home hasn't been the best pretty much historically, especially last season. He was pretty atrocious away from home. There are injury concerns as well about him, so Saka is not the best option this game week. But I think Ødegaard might actually be a really good option. He scored twice against Bournemouth in that pretty early fixture last season, and he could easily score again. I think Ødegaard is actually a decent pick going forward, and especially on a free hit or something like that. I think Ødegaard is kind of a sneaky player. But also Gabriel Jesus up front. I think he's going to start now up front. He's also a really fun player to go with on a free hit, for example, or if you just want to go with a 1 week punt before you wildcard, especially. Because they do have really tough fixtures from game week 8 onwards. Arsenal, game week 8 and game week 9 have tough fixtures. But Jesus is also someone that is really interesting. But yeah, those guys are the ones that I would target the most when it comes to a free hit or, like I said, a short punt. But yeah, when it comes to my team, yeah, it's dependent on Saka basically. If Saka is deemed to be out, if there are some pretty concrete, or if there's even like a lot of doubt about Saka being out, I'm pretty certain I'm going to sell him, because I can always bring him back in game week 10 as well, or bring in a different Arsenal midfielder potentially. Maybe Martinelli is back in and looking good again. Maybe Ødegaard is looking better at that point. Maybe Gabriel Jesus is someone that I want to invest in up front as well. So yeah, I'm not too fussed about selling Saka, but at the same time, he could be a really nice differential compared to everyone else if he starts now. Even in those tougher fixtures that they have in game week 8 and 9, he could still score. So I'm not too happy about selling Saka, but if he is out against Bournemouth, I think it's pretty much a given that I have to sell him. And it most likely would be Diaby, outside shot of Gordon, and also an outside shot of James Ward-Prowse. But yeah, I could also just go slightly into like the next few game weeks, what I could do these game weeks. Going to FPL.team, which is a really good transfer planner site as well. So this is obviously game week 7. I've done 1 transfer already, and that is cash for chill. Well, this is like if I do the boring cash for chill route. If Saka is actually fit to play against Bournemouth, I would probably still sell Saka the next game week though, and that's what I've done here. Son is definitely someone I'm bringing in next game week, regardless of what happens. But in this case, I've actually done both Diaby and Son in for those fixtures, Luton away and Wolves away. Really good fixtures for those 2 guys. And Foden and Saka go out. That's the 2 transfers that I used this game week, and that leaves me 1.5 in the bank. There's also like a fun thing here. You could potentially play Archer if you don't like. I would be tempted because I'm a fan of West Ham, so I kind of want Botman to concede anyway. So like as someone who wants West Ham to do well, maybe I would do that. But sensibly in FPL, you don't really need to play with your heart. So maybe Archer hasn't looked the best the past few game weeks, so it probably would be safer to have Botman. But it's a fun like alternative potentially. But either way, goalkeeper Turner, if he stays in goal, he would be a good option there. Otherwise, I would have Flecken against Man United. I don't know. The next game week 9, I would actually leave it with no transfers. Probably, maybe Sterling out, Arsenal at home. Depends how Sterling looks as well. Sterling might actually be the one I sell here. If Foden, for example, all of a sudden looks undroppable for Man City, and his place is still secure, Rodri will still be out at this point. So maybe Foden would still have to play offensively. So maybe it is actually Foden, or maybe it is actually Sterling that goes out rather than Foden here. That might actually be one of the things that I might end up doing. So it will be Foden instead, and then rather than Foden going out, he plays Arsenal, which is a tough game, but Man City can score against anyone basically. But I still really want Diaby, so maybe Sterling didn't look that good in game week 7, so maybe I want to sell him, even though they play Burnley away. Not the worst fixture to have actually, but But I think Diaby against Wolves away is a better fixture. But yeah, I could do that in game week 8 or I could do it in game week 9. Doesn't really matter. But that would leave me with one transfer after the Diaby to Sterling move anyway. And Foden against Brighton at home. That's still a pretty decent fixture if he still keeps his place. So with this lineup, I would also have one transfer in the bank. Definitely would not have Archer against Man United. I would have Mbeumo still against Burnley. And I would probably just save that transfer because I think Game Week 10 is... I know a lot of people have looked at Game Week 10 as their potential wildcard week. And the reason for that is that it's a pretty good game week in terms of fixture swings, like turning around for a lot of teams. So that's probably something that I would look into doing. I would have also Aston Villa against West Ham. Again, I would be back against my own team without any West Ham players in the team as well. Which is kind of like annoying as a fan, but you sort of have to do what you have to do. I've seen Haaland, Alvarez, and Salah all whole against West Ham the last few game weeks, so you sort of just have to put your allegiances aside when you play FPL and just like hope for a West Ham win, obviously, but then like at least you get some points if it goes bad. But yeah, game week 10. One of the transfers that I would do is Mbeumo to Mitoma. I think if you look at Brentford's fixtures, they have Chelsea away, West Ham at home. Again, I wouldn't want to play people against West Ham. Liverpool away and Arsenal at home. Those 4 fixtures don't look the best for Mbeumo, and at this point, he might look like a pretty bad FPL option as well. I might sell him earlier, to be honest, if he continues to look bad and if Brentford continues to look bad. But yeah, that would be one transfer. Mitoma in. He has fantastic fixtures from Game Week 10. I think he's kind of being overlooked currently. I think Brighton in general are kind of being overlooked. Mitoma is also like the most nailed. He's going to play most games. So this is a pretty good fixture on up until Game Week 18. And I really want to do a wildcard in Game Week 19, which is potentially where I sell him, but he still has good fixtures after this as well. But I'm really getting ahead of myself now. But yeah, Foden against Man United, once again, he had a fantastic game against Man United last season, so maybe I still want to keep him. It really depends how Foden looks, because if Foden just keeps playing and keeps performing for Man City, he is one of the best assets in the game to have, so I'm not really too worried about him. Like, both him and Sterling could prove themselves to be important players to have, but if Foden has started to look worse and he's looking more like a rotation risk, I could potentially get someone like Jared Bowen in for this game week, because I do actually like Bowen long-term better than Ward-Prowse. I just like Ward-Prowse better for Game Week 7. Because if you look at these fixtures, Everton at home, Bowen scored twice against Everton last season. Brentford away, could easily score in that game. Nottingham Forest at home, Burnley away, Crystal Palace at home. Look at all these fixtures. Like, it's such easy fixtures. So having West Ham players this game week would be really good. The other West Ham player would potentially be Areola. I could sell Flecken for that, but again, Flecken against Chelsea, maybe he gets a lot of saves. Maybe Chelsea keep missing their chances as they tend to do. So this could be a pretty high-scoring game week for Flecken. So I don't really mind playing him this game week either way. But yeah, still a pretty good team. Bowen and Mitoma, really fun players to watch as well. Diaby is really fun to watch. Son and Salah, pretty fun to watch as well. Alvarez, I'm just pretty, like, they do have some tougher fixtures, but I'm just pretty sold on Alvarez in general this season. He's been so good to me since I brought him in Game Week 3 as well, so I kind of just want to give him the benefit of the doubt. But maybe if Foden is actually looking like the better pick, maybe I could just keep Foden, and maybe I could sell Alvarez and buy like a striker instead, like maybe someone like Gabriel Jesus. Maybe he's available there. Sheffield United at home, like that's also a good thing. But banks 0.0 in the bank, probably would have less to spend because people are going up like crazy when it comes to price. Could go with someone like Darwin as well, who also has really good fixtures from this point on. A lot of different things I could do, but I could choose between Foden and Alvarez if I do stick with Foden up until this point. But yeah, that's just a brief little window of what I can do going forward. I could go into Game Week 11 and beyond as well, but I don't really think it's worth it in this video. I can show that in different team selection videos in the future, in the next few game weeks. That's pretty much been this team selection video for Game Week 7. Hope it was informative. I'm really interested to hear what you guys are doing this game week. Are you wildcarding? Are you free hitting? Are you doing transfers? Are you sticking with your team? Do you like your team? Like, it's kind of an inflection point in FPL right now where people can go many different ways, and it's going to be so many players to choose from. We have so much money in the bank as well. I'm not going with Trippier, which might be a massive mistake as well. It's tough. Like in some of these things where I've done transfers and stuff, I've actually had enough money to get Trent Alexander-Arnold from around Game Week 9 or Game Week 10 as well, which would be really fun because no one is going to have him most likely, because most people are going to have Trippier, Salah, Son, Haaland. That's going to be the priority. But Trent, maybe for that really good fixture run for Liverpool, maybe he's going to be sort of like the essential status that he's sort of had in the past. So I've been looking into those types of things as well. But if I want to get there, I probably would need to get Gordon, which isn't the worst thing in the world either. I'm pretty happy about, or I would be pretty happy about having Gordon as well on my team. So a lot of different options this week, a lot of different options the next few game weeks. There's going to be a lot of wildcards. There's going to be a lot of fun in FPL, I think, these next few weeks. We've had like 6 pretty like boring template-ish weeks for most FPL managers, especially content creators. Everyone have had the same team. Maybe that will end up happening again, most likely, because we have all the algorithms telling you to get the same exact players and stuff. But hopefully we get some variation, because there's a lot of interesting players with the fixture ticker, or the fixtures coming up now. And you can go many different ways and get a lot of points in FPL. And I think the one that's actually going to win FPL is not going to be one of those guys who are a content creator and does basically the same move every week. It's going to be someone who thinks outside the box and tries to go for something different. And that's always something that I encourage on this YouTube channel, and always something that I try to do myself as well. I'm pretty like contrarian by nature anyway. But either way, that has been, I said that 5 minutes ago before I went on a diatribe, but that has been the team selection video for Game Week 7. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.